Hello and welcome back to my next Oxygen Not Included video. As with last time, we have our Dreco Ranch, our Dreco stable, quite happily doing its thing. I'll probably make some changes to that later on, but for the moment it's okay. We're exploring further and further into the swamp biome, and we have discovered a cool steam vent. Up to the north, we can just see a natural gas one as well, which will be very useful power generation later. We're in here collecting phosphorite at the moment, and of course down here we're collecting more and more chlorine and trying to get the bleach stone. I did wonder, in fact we have two people with slime lung, which is a great example of the problem I'm now having. Is we shouldn't have anyone with slime lung. We're being careful, and then it occurred to me what the problem was, which is that I haven't built a hospital yet. So time to get on with that. Looking at rooms, a hospital is medical equipment, a toilet, a mess table, and has to be at least 12 tiles. We have a room we're not doing anything with here. It's 40 tiles, so we can probably fit everything we need into here. So, first off, a toilet. Going to use the lavatory for obvious reasons. And obviously, once we have a lavatory, we're going to hope to be able to fit in a sink as well. Hospital also needs medical equipment and a mess table. So for mess tables and furniture. In fact, let's move the sink over a little and have the mess table right by the door. Sick bay. And can we fit in the medicine cot as well? Not quite. It isn't quite big enough. Okay. It's a shame. So let's cancel all that production and get rid of that toilet. We're going to have to make that a little bigger. So we can't use that space, unfortunately. So I guess we're going to have to use this space up here and do a bit more mining. I guess it's dangerously close to some slime, but that's not too big a deal. I'm going to put a few temporary ladders in just to aid in the building of the ceiling. Chlorine. And down here, double check that pipe is actually going where I think it's going. Ah, it's not getting in because that needs to be, those have to be automated. Right. So while that digs out, quick distraction to put some automation into here. We have enough copper, so we should be fine. Okay, so we want to make sure we get it. We want to fill this area with hydrogen. So we want automation. So we want it to be on if there's not enough hydrogen. Checking these. Hydrogen climate. Hydrogen breach. So we want a lot of hydrogen. Actually, I think let's simplify this and put it on a switch so we can handle it ourselves for the moment and not worry too much about exactly how we're going to handle the amount of hydrogen needed in there. There we go, that's pumping now, and we'll start to get hydrogen. Quickly check our new printables. A difficult decision. Someone with researching and suit wearing his interest will be great for morale going forwards. And is germ resistant, even better. Flatulence is something we can handle, but some spicy tofu would be nice. We're okay for food in the moment, so I'm going to go for the new dupe. Which of course means a new bed needed. And a new mess table needed. There we go. See, the hydrogen is getting in there now, much better. While I wait for that, I'm also going to put in place, if I can just find them, some deodorizers at the door here to make sure that any air oxygen that's getting out of the swamp biome is at least getting deodorized. Food is decaying. Rotten meat. Oh, that was silly of us. How do we let that happen? Something must have died we didn't notice. So our new dupe is going to work on becoming a researcher as well. Speaking of which, we don't have any research currently running. And while we have everything we currently need, there's no reason to let them sit idle. So let's give them fossil fuels just to keep them occupied. Our mushroom farm is coming along quite nicely. But for the moment, we're going to make some more mush bars just to keep our quantity of food up. We've almost gotten all the chlorine we're going to out of this area, which is great. That can then become another access to start mining out the swamp from the left as well. Water gotten down here, so let's got all that up. We don't want wet feet. Right, so this area is almost ready now. And now we have quite a large population. What I'm actually going to do with this room is turn it into a copy of this. Because what I don't want is queues for the bathroom. No, I don't think oxygen is an issue down there anymore, so I don't need to worry about that. And get rid of this superfluous pipework while we're here. That's not achieving anything right now. Gosh, that research was completed very quickly. A lot of these now are things we're not going to need for a very long time, but we may as well have them researched as having people idle. So we're done over here. Fantastic. Let's get our hospital built. Like every other room, we need to be enclosed. So walls and door, as we know from before. We need a toilet. Well, first, we need a mess table, which I'll put by the door. Also want a sink. A sick bay. A triage cot. And finally, a toilet. They, like everything else, need plumbing. That's our clean supply. Then, of course, we need a way to get the dirty into the system as well. On the verge of our first mushroom harvest. Oh, we have some more fungal spores, so we can get those growing. And as we just saw, we can now finally cure slime lung. Later on, I'll move some of this pipe work to help with the decor and the morale in this area, because we don't really want a big dirty water pipe running through the Great Hall. But if we try to build walls on this side, we'll end up digging into this polluted water, which I also don't want. But once we've mined this area and it's safe, we'll put a wall down there in order to move the pipework around a bit. Skills time. And now suddenly we have no significance anymore. Once this is finished, as before, as for all rooms, once the hospital, everything will work that little bit better. I'm actually going to leave that sink set to people to wash their hands on either way around, because we don't want dirt getting in or out. Though these need to be switched to only be when people are leaving. I'm also going to take a moment at this point to build a refrigerator and put it in the Great Hall. Once we start keeping our food in there, instead we should have far less issues with wastage. Don't need any of them. May as well catch that Draco. Oh dear, I'm about to lose someone. I have accidentally set this so he's going to suffocate. And there he goes. We've lost our first dupe. Hope he wasn't anyone too important. Let's see, he was our plumber. An unfortunate loss from carelessness. And he'll want a memorial to have somewhere to put the body. Let's see what's going on over here. Still okay. Yes, sadly, pure carelessness on my part there, and not making sure there's a good enough ladder network for people to be able to get in and out. And our research is not currently happening anymore again, so let's fix that. Our coal power is still fine, it would seem. That battery is still mostly full. Wait for some sandstone. We haven't run out of sandstone, have we? No, plenty. Just not a priority. Right, we've clearly had a mushroom harvest at some point, so time to start to add fried mushrooms to the menu to make as and when. Got some more of those deodorizers around because we don't want the slime lung oxygen getting too widespread. A quick look at heat. We are generally okay, though our coal plant is getting a little warm. That coal plant's getting very warm. So let's do something about that. We happen to have a wart seed, so we're going to plant it. This isn't actually food, even though it's going to go in a planter box. What the weasel wart does is something you generally find in ice biomes. We got that from a very early printing pod option. It cools down the area around it. So if you put one in the middle of the coal generators, it should keep this area much cooler. So we find that. There it is. As long as we can keep it supplied with phosphorite, it will cool down the area. So there we go. And that give that some time and it will cool down this area quite substantially. Keep working on our mining operation over here. I'm going to try to create a small reservoir of polluted water down here. Let's have some directed eggs. Learn some skills. To make sure everyone, no one's eating raw ingredients when it's far better for them to eat the actual food. Yeah. So our first harvest mushrooms went on just being eaten as mushrooms, sadly. So we've stopped that happening now. Next time we should get to grill some of them. As I've said before, a lot of time is just spent watching things happen and waiting to be ready to do the next thing. This pool of water up here is going to get in the way reasonably soon, so it might be time to do something about that. Oops, we've got another case of someone not able to escape. Silly dupes. So this time we'll try and fix it, giving that a higher priority. Here comes someone hopefully coming to fix that problem. Here come lots of people in fact to fix that problem. We should manage to save this one at least. As I was saying, you have to be very careful sometimes when you start to mine out that you do have ladders available for everyone to get to where they need to go. Having done it before, we're going to red alert, so no one will rest now until I turn that off. They'll just keep working to try and get this fixed so that this person can survive, and there we go. Problem now resolved. We can turn it off again. You'll go get food. Oh, we've got an achievement. What have we achieved recently? We've moved 1,000 kilos of oxygen around using gas vents. Well done, us. So we'll also have another fungal spore down there so we can get another mushroom growing. So this pool over here, I was just starting to think about. So I'm getting into there so we can then put a pump in. Eventually these wandering Drecos might get captured. That's the problem. I have told it that you have 4 in at a time because that's all I've got the food for, of course. But I guess we'll let those Drecos wander then. And make sure our food supply isn't going to run out. Research is going very quickly these days. And so sad to that bed there now unclaimed. But the body has been collected. And so Meep is now here. Someone has slime lung again. And we're out of medical packs, which are needed to fix that. Just want to tidy that room a bit so I can see what's going on in there a bit more. Right, it looks like we have gotten all the chlorine out of here we're going to. There is still some hydrogen. Looks like we didn't get anywhere near this many gas reservoirs. But we do have an area up here we can extend into to get more. So we'll do that. Not going too high, because once we get to salt water, that's somewhere new again. We'll deal with that when we need to. We're not maintaining our hydrogen atmosphere in here particularly well because we've run out of hydrogen, unfortunately. Shame, but not a lot to do about it. May as well turn this off for the moment. And work on getting rid of the gases that we don't want. Thimbleweed seeds. Another potential source of fibre if we're not going to get the hydrogen to get the Dracos going properly. Okay, so this is going ahead reasonably well. So Pacu, while we're here, we'll have a quick look at the Pacu. Most these are a type of fish. As we can see here, they're likely to liable to drop just more eggs, or they can potentially create tropical or gulp fry Pacu. They like to eat algae. They excrete polluted dirt, which is not great stuff to have around, but they themselves can be useful, again, for food. And here we see our first frozen biome. Weighted, this is the usual source of weaselworts. And sleetwheat, which we want a source of because that's a way we can start making bread, which is another staple which we're hoping to move to in our diets. We are getting to the point now where this isn't really helping us because all the gas we want to pump is higher up, and chlorine as a light gas rises. Do we destroy that? And instead put in some oxygen generation so it makes it easier to breathe down here. And once we've dug out to up here, we'll build a new pump to start collecting this hydrogen and chlorine that's much higher. But that is all we have time for today. So thank you. We've made some progress today. We have our hospital up and running, so slime lung's now less of an issue, and we're getting on with our mining. Come back next time.